Welcome back, everyone, to the Countdown to Kickoff program, the only nationally televised show that breaks down all your NFL action every Sunday from a point spread perspective. Al DeMarco here along with Steve Buden. We welcome all of you that happen to be watching the first half hour of the show on Fox Sports or DirecTV, Sports Time Ohio, or Dish Network. This is our final segment, and Steve, let's pick it up with San Francisco and Arizona. I was a big supporter of the 49ers last week here on the show, and they absolutely cruised to an easy win. The one thing about this team is how they're so resilient. I mean, they were coming off a beatdown at the hands of Baltimore on Thanksgiving night, 16-6, a game in which the offensive line gave Alex Smith no protection as he was sacked 9 times. But they absolutely won easily last week. And listen, they're 7-0 straight up and against the spread against losing teams this year, and that says something about this team.
Yeah, and I was actually on Arizona last week here on the show against the Cowboys. Remember, I told everybody that Arizona always gets up for that game, and now we're getting the benefit of the line here, in my opinion, and we always talk about that. I think San Francisco laying 3.5 points once again. This is my Rodney Dangerfield special of the week. No respect for the 49ers and what they've done so far this season. I'm going with the 49ers, laying the 3.5. Once again, I'll buy down that 0.5 point just for insurance purposes.
And it is all about the perception of the line in this game, guys, because, listen, Arizona's won 2 straight and 4 out of 5. But who have they beaten? They've beaten St. Louis twice. They beat a bad Philadelphia team. They were gift-wrapped to win by Dallas last week because their coach is a moron.
Yep.
So you have to look at also the dynamics of these two teams. This is an Arizona team that I think has given up 41 or 42 quarterback sacks this season. It doesn't matter who's the quarterback. San Francisco is going to attack defensively. Listen, when these two met the first go-round, it was a 23-7 game. San Francisco covered easily at home, laying the 10 points. But you look at the box score, 431 total yards to 229 total yards, 25-11 first down advantage. I mean, they had the ball, time of possession over 20 minutes more. And Frank Gore has absolutely owned Arizona here. His last 7 games against them, he's averaged 4.7 yards per carry. So again, I'm with you. I think this is the cheap chalk game here. San Francisco is an easy one.
Yeah, and I don't buy too much into San Francisco's loss because, they've been traveling back and forth every single week, and I think their schedule just kind of caught up to them. I like them now after being rested and home and now going, on the West Coast. I like that.
And losing to Baltimore after winning 4 straight games on the East Coast this season is nothing to be embarrassed about.
I agree.
Next game is going to be Denver and Chicago. If you aren't drinking the Tim Tebow Kool-Aid, you've been late to the dance because, 6-1 straight up and against the spread as a starter, and I see absolutely no reason why Denver is such a cheap price in this game, just like with San Francisco, because Chicago has shown me nothing with Haney at quarterback, 23 points in 2 starts, and where he's thrown 6 interceptions. They don't have Matt Forte. Yes, they are going to have Marion Barber in there, but he's no longer a full-time back. This is a team, Chicago, that's got real problems, and this is a spot that you got to ride Denver.
I mean, the hatred out there for Tim Tebow is unbelievable. Chicago, no Cutler, no Forte. They're a shell of a team. They're going into Mile High, into the thin air. You've got every reason to bet Denver. And what? They're a 3.5 favorite. That means that on a neutral field with these players, they think Denver's only a 0.5 point better than Chicago. Come on, man. It's time to give Tebow his due. Lay the 3.5 here. I've been on Tebow the last 6 games. I'm staying with him. He's going to win out the schedule. And they're still going to say it was the luck of scheduling. They're not going to give him his due. Although I did notice that Elway made his way down to the field last week early to cheer Tebow on. Let's remember, it was 13 years before Elway won a Super Bowl. Tebow might do better than that.
Yeah, they might get to the playoffs. They ain't winning the Super Bowl, and he may not be the starter next year, but everybody's so concerned about Tebow in the future, Tebow in next year. Let's just be concerned about here and now. And the here and now is, if I had told you 7 weeks ago, if you had bet Tim Tebow in every single game, you would have went 6-1 against the spread. You're taking down the books. That's all that matters. So you bet him again today. You buy down the 0.5 point, whether this line's 3.5, 3, or even 4, 4.5, and you just bank your money on the Broncos.
And I know we're not rushing to talk about the Buffalo-San Diego game, so let me just say one more thing. They've made the offense, they've shaped the offense around Tebow's strengths now. Those first couple of games, it was the old offensive scheme. Tebow had no shot. At least now he's in an offense, that plays to his strengths. I think that's why we're seeing him get better and better each and every game, even though every pundit said as soon as they watch the film on Tebow, he'll be a goner. It's not happening.
Well, taking that a step further than you saw last week in Minnesota, where they really didn't even have many offensive plays in the first half because the Vikings had the ball all so often.
Right.
However, they took the reins off of Tebow. They let him throw the ball 20 times, and geez, he did complete 15 of them. You know, I watched him for all those years at Florida. You would think we're talking about a guy who had one arm. I mean, you know, he completed a hell of a lot of passes in college, and you know, I'm old enough, unfortunately, remember as a kid, there was a guy that quarterbacked the Chicago Bears, a guy by the name of Bobby Douglas, who was more of a runner, a big bullish runner like Tebow was, and a really lousy passer. Tebow, you know, is getting the job done. And as you said, they're running that option, the spread option attack. They've got an incredible year from Willis McGahee. And let's not forget the Broncos defense. They have been putting pressure on quarterbacks. And when you've got a backup that really is inexperienced, that's thrown 6 interceptions the past 2 weeks, I think that bodes well for the Broncos.
And when we look for the reasons why the Denver defense is playing so good, it's not because they have any new personnel. This is the same Denver defense that was in there before Tebow showed up. You don't think that's leadership? Come on, man.
Okay, next game is going to be San Diego and Buffalo. I have nothing to say about Norv Turner. They won a game. Big deal. They beat Jacksonville. Big deal. They're going to win this game, too, after snapping their 6-game losing streak because, again, I talk about the dynamics. You look at how the Bills are constructed defensively. They've given up 31.4 points while losing 5 in a row straight up, going 1-4 against the spread. They've got a pass rush that is non-existent. On the season, they've got 17 sacks in 12 games. 10 of those sacks came in one game. Philip Rivers is going to be able to sit back there. Ryan Matthews is going to be able to run for the 3rd straight week over 100 yards. I think this is a great game to take the Chargers because the Bills, forget about the Bills early in the season. That team is long gone. That train has left the station.
Yeah, this is actually my garbage game of the week. The good news for those of you in San Diego that are going to attend this game is they're going to show the Green Bay game on the Jumbotron. So at least you'll have a real game to watch while you're sitting at this game. Al, I'm not betting this game. If you're out there and you want to bet this game, let me give you a little advice. 1-800-GAMBLER. They're waiting for you because you're a sick person and you need help.
Okay, Dallas and the New York Giants. Giants looking to snap that 4-game losing streak. But, I mean, my goodness, they played, you know, the last 5 games they played New England, whom they upset on the road, then played San Francisco, Philadelphia. No matter how the Eagles struggle, it was a division game, then New Orleans and Green Bay. So it has been one hell of a run here for the Giants. This is a very tough game. I got to be honest with you. I don't know which way to go here. Giants have won and covered 5 of the last 7 in the series. Cowboys 2-6-1 against the spread is a favorite this year. They've even been worse as a NFC East favorite playing at home, 4-10 their last 14. And, you know, I just don't know about this team's mental makeup after their coach cost them a game last week.
When you're 48 yards away from a field goal and you've got 2 timeouts left and you're too scared to let your quarterback hand the ball off because he might make a mistake, there's something wrong with that team. There's no such thing as a good loss in the NFL, but I think for the Giants, this was a very good loss for them last week against Green Bay. I think they're walking around right now saying to themselves, hey man, first of all, we're mathematically still in the playoffs because everybody else is playing so bad, and we just played the best team in the league, maybe the best offense of all time, and we hung right in there with them. And I think that's a big thing for the Giants. We talk about momentum. We talk about motivation. I think the Giants have all of it. I like the Giants against a Dallas team that just can't cover the spread.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Giants a little here. I mean, listen, guys, I've been telling you all season, you know, the Giants don't play defense anymore. It's just reputation. They're giving up over 26 points a game. If they can get a pass rush and rattle Tony Romo, if they can bottle up DeMarco Murray, they're going to win this one in a slugfest. It might also go over, but I'm with you. I would go with the Giants as an underdog in this game as they've covered 5 of the last 7 in the series.
I think the only real stars on Dallas are on the helmets. That's just my opinion.
And with that, guys, that'll do it for this week's show, and we will catch you again next Sunday with your Countdown to Kickoff program. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you then.